Having a studio space is like flipping gold. It really is. If you're a creative, if you're an artist, having your own studio space is like, wow, this is just my hidey hole. This is the place that I love to be in. But one of the things that was important to me was making sure that it was organized, making sure that I could stay on top of what I needed to find, because it can get ugly real fast. And nothing more frustrating than not being able to find anything. When you have a small space, that's when it can get really difficult, I think. When I was in the other room, it really did get a bit mental. It was so packed. There was literally nowhere else to go. There was just this tiny space left to walk, and that was it. I could barely get behind my desk because, like, when you're painting or drawing, etc., it's really easy to start gathering materials, especially easels. I think I have about 5 different easels for different purposes, but yeah, that's a whole nother level, that is. But anyway, the thing with a studio space is they are a working space. That's the thing to remember. They are places where things are going on. So it's not about it being immaculate and pristine, because, you know, it's not a show home. This is a working studio, somewhere that you are in regularly. This is the space I come into every day. Let me show you my space and share with you how I keep it organized so that I can find the things that I'm looking for, and so that I'm not hindered in my productivity and in my creativity. The problem with a disorganized space is it can create so much friction and conflict within yourself because you can't find anything, you can't find something. And so dividing it up, so I'm writing, I'm drawing, I paint, and plus I also do sewing. There are other projects and things that I do as well. And so I've kind of zoned my space really. Even my shelves are kind of organized. I'm always shuffling things around on the shelf, but they usually end up back to where they started. So why I bother, I don't know. Who even knows? But keeping things in a way that is logical means that it reduces the friction and reduces the frustration. I still remember the day I walked into my other studio space. I opened the door, I just looked at the chaos, and I had to shut the door and come back out because I just thought, no, that was, I couldn't face it. It was just a nightmare. So in here, I have decided, or I am making an effort to keep things as organized as possible. The other thing about that is reminding myself that I only have so much space, and the more things you buy and put in the space, the less room you will have. So I am conscious and deliberate about the things I buy. It's very easy, when you're an artist, it's very easy to just keep buying materials. You know, you go into that art shop, you know, you see something and you really have to, it does require willpower. Yeah, a lot of willpower actually. I have stopped buying stuff because I am determined, I say stuff, because I am determined I will only buy what I need, because that is what's essential to just stop the flipping nightmare, because it can get ugly real fast, like I said. One of the ways I maximise my space is using storage containers. Now, my cameras, etc., I keep in really useful boxes under my table. Under the table has a lot of space. I've got a sewing machine in there. I've got my really useful boxes with my photography equipment. There is my still life box for the Evolve program. And down the side, it looks like a nightmare. It looks chaotic, but actually there is some logic to it. It may not look like it, but there is some logic to it. I've got my different papers, different grades of papers that I'm using for my drawing, and it's just the space that I've got, and it's out the way. And I'm really fortunate because actually at least I do have some space down the side of my table. You know, IKEA, I don't think there's an artist who doesn't love IKEA. They really do produce some great shelves for the creative space, and you know, they can go on the wall, you can have your lights, like I've got my lights here and it's perfect. So it means having the shelves in a way that's organized. I keep my tech at one side and things for my writing, etc. near my desk. It just helps. I'm kind of organised. There is a logic to it. It may not look like to some, but there is a logic to it. I used to have all my art and my drawing books kind of in pride of place, but that because I wasn't using them as much, I decided to move where they were placed and put them on a lower shelf, but near my table so that I could sit and draw. So often I'll sit there and I'll do my drawing and stuff, get my other easel out, etc. So that really helps. And then with the sewing, I decided let me clear a space and put some fabric there because I'd run out of space on the other shelf. So the things that I don't need in here, I do remove. So any books that I don't use, I've got a bookshelf downstairs, I will put them there. But it's about having a certain amount of logical space so that it just keeps me organised. I have talked about my wall easel probably 1,000 times, so I won't go into that again, but my wall easel certainly helps make the space. This is a bigger room, but having that has just been a flipping lifesaver. It just means that I don't have to have another easel on the floor. My artistic easel, I am telling you, I love this easel. It is, oh my gosh. For painting, it is painting, drawing, whatever, it is just fantastic because I don't have to take my paper off the board and try and like position it. I can just turn my board while I'm working. Oh my God. And the other thing is it's a tripod and it just gives the impression of more space. I used to have a wooden easel that a friend had given me. And although it was great, there were many limitations that I had with that. So I needed to make sure I got something else. So I bought this easel and now this side of the room is where I do my painting. This is my painting space. I don't want my paints over here where there's fabric, where there are my books, certainly not where my desk is, because otherwise, anyone who paints, you know how easy it is to get paint everywhere. Even when you try to be neat and tidy, which I do, I really do practice being neat and tidy so as not to waste my materials. You can end up with paint on your arm and you don't even know it. I've ended up with paint prints all over the place and not even realised I've done it until it's too late. So that side of the room is where I do my painting. That side is tech. This is where I write, and over there is where I sew and where I will get my easel out sometimes and do my drawings. And sometimes I just need to lay paper out and prep it for various things. So it's just having that organised space. It makes a massive difference to when I come in here. When I first came in, of course, you put things in a place that you think is logical. The table, that was the only place that was ever going to go. My desk, I was going to have it over by the wall, but actually in front of the window, I do like the light coming through, it's great. But having this particular layout is the only way that works really well in this room, and I like it. It's just great, it's perfect. I do think one of the things, if you can do it, if it's possible, is to find a way of having a clear table. This table, it's like a old pine dining table, and the thing is solid. But having that space has just been invaluable. I used to have my desk easel on there, but I kept doing things near my computer. I used to do stuff here, and I was just so worried about damaging my computer. In the end, I had to take the desk easel off. It's stored over by the wall at the moment, but actually I use that table all the time. Every single day that table gets used. So it's about, sometimes there's a season for things. So you might, when I do my next large A2 drawing, I may get that easel out and put it back on the table for the time I'm doing that drawing. I'm really fortunate because actually on the other side of the tripod easel, I have another drawing that I'm doing. So now I can have two pieces of work, painting one side, drawing the other. And actually that has worked so well. It made a massive difference in the freedom that it gave me of not being able to use my table, but I can still do my drawing and have it out the way. So I can literally just turn this as and when I need to, so that I can paint on one side and I'm drawing on the other. So it's finding ways of maximizing my space so that I'm not conflicted in the way that I work, and so that other things are not affected. So, if I'm not using certain cameras or materials, then I'll just put them in the box. if my paints need to be, I've got other new paints that I've not opened yet, so instead of over by the other paints that I am using, they're stored on the shelf over here. So I have a certain amount of organization, the way I lay things out, and it's perfect. So it doesn't matter what size your space is, what you have, what you don't have. It's not about having lots of tools and equipment, because like I said, we just end up just, oh God. It's like if you sew, anyone who sews, you know what I'm talking about. You go into a fabric shop, you are coming out with more fabric. It's just, you really do have to have some self-control. It can be a challenge, but you absolutely have to. Otherwise, you just end up with stuff you're not using. Some of the things you will use now and again, some of the things you will use all the time. I use my tripod easel every single day. I use my table every day, but I don't use my artist books every day. So they're on a lower shelf. I don't use my scales and my postal tubes and things every day. So those things are not in pride of place, so to speak. Storage baskets make a massive difference. They can really help with all those little bits and pieces. So it's really is trying to think of ways to keep the space organized. It's a working space, but it doesn't mean it can't be somewhere that's enjoyable. So I have my music. I've said in videos before about the music. I will always have something playing. Invariably, when I'm painting, I have a podcast playing. I love listening to art podcasts while I'm painting. It's just marvelous. I really do enjoy it. I don't know what it is about that, but I just enjoy it. Not music. I want to listen to art podcasts while I'm painting. Lighting. I've got some strip lights that just add just a little flash of something. It's just making the space not just a working space, but a space to enjoy being in. I've taken all my artwork down at the moment. I only have one behind me here. And I cleared it away because I thought, well, actually, I need to create work that I can put up in my space and see regularly. So that's something I'm working on at the moment. But I think one of the things to remember about your space is it's yours, and it's a live space. It's not storage. Parts are storage, but it's a live space. It should have energy. It's somewhere that you want to be, somewhere that you are working regularly, somewhere that inspires you and lifts you up, somewhere that you can, it's like your Dharma zone. You come in, you shut your door, and this is just your space. I just love it in here. I really do. It's just, I could be in here all day. I would be very happy not to leave my house for a week. In fact, I think I have done that recently, and it hasn't bothered me in the slightest. That just sounds like, get out more. Yes, I do need to get out more and go and visit some art galleries. But your space needs to be somewhere that reflects you, what you want to create, who you are, and also something that evolves, something that's changing, something that's growing with you. It's not meant to be a static, stale space. It needs to be somewhere where the energy is flowing and your creativity is flowing. So having podcasts or music that inspires, certain lighting, I did a video about the lighting that comes in that can affect when I'm painting. So sometimes I have to block it out, and I don't particularly like it, but it's what I have to do to make sure my paintings come out correctly. But that's my studio space. That's how I use it. I zone it so that everything has a place and a place for everything. So maybe it gives you ideas, different ways of storing things, different containers, drawers. Really useful boxes are a flipping lifesaver, just like IKEA. So happy days. I hope maybe this has given you some ideas for your space, but whatever you have, make the most of it and get creative and utilize every corner so that you can maximize your creativity. I'm Shai, this is the Shai Creative, and I will see you in the next video.